Hello everyone and welcome inside the Ursprung Gymnasium on the campus of Baldwin Wallace University. It's volleyball time between the Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets and the visiting Muskingum Fighting Muskies. BW starts on serve, and now Muskingum will send it into their back row. It's saved by the Jackets to the outside hitter, but that was one hit too many, and Muskingum will get the first point of the game. On the serve for the Muskies is sophomore middle hitter Reagan Flood. She sends it to the back row where Lauren Gardner digs it out. Now it goes to the outside hitter Allison Weiner, and she'll put it down for the point, evening the first set at 1-1. In the starting lineup tonight for the Yellow Jackets, Lauren Gardner, the freshman defensive specialist from Cleveland St. Joseph Academy, as well as senior defensive specialist Morgan Martin out of Seven Hills, Ohio. Freshman right side hitter Allison Weiner is in the starting lineup, as is freshman setter Lauren Reed, freshman middle hitter Alyssa Sagi, senior outside hitter Ivy Earl, and junior middle hitter Isa Luciano. The Yellow Jackets are coached by Casey Anger and assisted by Anthony Winter and Don Travis. The Muskies sent out freshman outside hitter Bryn Williams, freshman defensive specialist Kylie DeLuca, senior outside hitter Brooke Bigrig, middle hitter Reagan Flood, sophomore setter Lexi Huck, and senior setter Aaron Dixon. The Muskies are led by their head coach Hallie Cruzen, who is assisted by Taylor Huey. Muskingum comes into this match at 11-9. They are 2-3 in true road games and 2-2 in the Ohio Athletic Conference. BW also 2-2 in OAC play. They carry a 16-7 overall record, and they are 2-1 here on the home deck. BW will take over serve, down 3-2 here in set number one. Angela Dunn serves it, and it goes long. So Muskingum will get the point. And now checking into the game for the Muskies is sophomore outside hitter out of Cambridge, Ohio, Chloe Taylor. Big rig on the serve for the Muskies, but hers goes wide and deep, and she will turn it over to the Yellow Jackets. Now taking over, Ivy Earl to serve it for BW. BW recently snapped a three-match losing streak as they took a straight set victory over Heidelberg earlier this week, looking to make it two straight in conference play. Muskingum with tough play at the net, and they're going to get the point, and they take a 5-3 lead. Now serving for the Muskies, Kylie DeLuca, the freshman out of Uniontown, Ohio, in Green High School. She puts the right hand into it, and she sends it too long, and BW will go back on the serve. Isa Luciano out of Willoughby South will tee it up for the Jackets. She puts the right arm into it, and she sends it long. So both teams having a little bit of trouble staying on the serve thus far, as the majority of these serves are either going long or going wide of the line to get. Muskingum puts it in play. It's dug by Ivy Earl. Now swung over to Cecilia Hamish. She'll put it into Muskingum's side. They'll send it back to BW. Quick tip attempt is fielded by the Muskies. Now strong hit from the outside. Set goes to the back row. Coming up with the hit, Ivy Earl. BW back with the ball now. Swings it outside to Hamish again, and she'll send it down for the Yellow Jacket point. 6-5, BW trims Muskingum's lead down to 1 here in set number one. Allison Weiner back into the lineup for the Yellow Jackets. She's the right side hitter. Lauren Reed there with the serve. Muskingum sends it back to the back row, and Muskingum will get a block as Alyssa Sagi had a beautiful hit, but she couldn't get it through the double block set up by the Muskies, and that will be Muskingum serve. Bryn Williams on to handle the duties. She puts her right hand into it. It goes to the back row. It's fielded by Ivy Earl. Set up goes to Allison Weiner, and she'll send it too long. So Muskingum will actually stay on the serve. Bryn Williams with another opportunity. She takes a couple steps, puts the right hand into it. It goes to the back row. Misplayed initially, but still able to get it to Hamish, and she'll hit it off one of the Muskies out of bounds. BW with the point. Checking back into the game is Morgan Martin. And Martin, the senior out of Trinity High School, will serve it up for the Jackets. She puts the right hand into it. It's taken by Bryn Williams. Now set over the net. And BW having all sorts of trouble controlling it. It's a free ball. Now Muskingum will have a chance to set it up, but as Reagan Flood went up for the hit, the Yellow Jackets were there for the block and the point. BW now trails 8-7. Matt Florjancic along with you for the call of today's interconference game between the Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets and the Fighting Muskies of Muskingum. Today is a little bit more there's a little bit more to this game today than just about bragging rights between two OAC schools, as both programs have teamed up to help raise awareness for a brain cancer. A fundraiser going on in the Ursprung Gymnasium lobby on the way into today's match. So they're playing for a little bit higher cause than just a conference victory today. Morgan Martin had an emotional speech before taking the floor for today's game about losing someone close to her because of a brain cancer, form of brain cancer, and definitely an emotional day for her and all of the Yellow Jackets, as they made sure that they surrounded her with hugs and high fives after her pregame speech to get her back focused before taking the court. Lauren Gardner will tee up the serve for the Yellow Jackets. She'll get it over the line, and now coming up with the big hit for the Muskies was Lexi Huck. And she expands Muskingum's lead to 3, 11-8 here in set number 1. Coming on to serve is junior setter/outside hitter Emma Conrad out of Somerset, Ohio, Sheridan High School. She'll put it to the back row. BW sets it now, going up to Allison Weiner, and she'll hit it out of bounds. It'll be point for the Muskies. And without wasting too much time or letting this lead too far expanded, BW's coach Casey Anger will burn the timeout, and she'll get a 75-second break to help regroup the troops here as BW trails the Muskies 12-8. Again, BW came into this match 16-7 overall, 2-2 in conference play. Only 3 true home matches thus far this season, and BW is 2-1, whereas Muskingum only 5 road matches out of their 20. And the Muskies are 2-3 in those road contests. You look at BW's record breakdown, they are 7-1 away from home, and they are 7-5 in neutral sites, whereas the Muskies are 3-2 at home, 2-3 on the road, and 6-4 on neutral ground. Emma Conrad back on the serve for the Muskies. Takes a couple steps, jumps, serves it with the right hand to BW's back row. Quick hit will go off of one of the Muskies, and that will be a point for the Yellow Jackets. Subbing back into the game is senior defensive specialist out of Fairview Park and Fairview High School, Angela Dunn. Done with a jump serve. It gets to the back line, fielded by Bryn Williams. Now up to the front. It goes to Big Rig. It's handled by the Yellow Jackets. They're looking to get it across the net. And with that hit, it's Ivy Earl. Back to Big Rig. It's fielded by the Yellow Jackets. 3 hits, and they get it back over. Good diving stop by Kaylee DeLuca to keep it alive for the Muskies. Ball gets to Ivy Earl on the outside. Muskingum handles it, now sets up. It goes to Big Rig again, handled by the Yellow Jackets. That was done with the handle. And now the Muskies sending it over on a free ball to BW's back row. Ball gets to Reed. Reed sets up. Luciano, and the Yellow Jackets get the point. 12-10, BW cuts into the Muskies' lead. BW back on serve. Done again. Muskingum sends it out to Big Rig, and she slams home the point as Gardner was leaning left, and that ball went right. Gardner able to get an arm on it, but it fell to the court after that, so Muskingum gets a point. Big Rig back on serve. The new Concord native, staying local, going to Muskingum University. She has been one of the stalwarts here for the Muskies this year. In 74 sets played, she has 202 kills, leading the Muskies by nearly 2-1 over the next leading hitter. She's averaging 2.73 kills per set, and she's had 703 total attacks for a 182 hitting percentage. She also has 32 assists and 23 service aces. Muskingum is awarded the point, and Big Rig will go with the jump serve again. She hits it short. Gardner digs it out, but she fires it right back over the net. BW, however, gets the block as Muskingum tried to get the quick point, and BW will trim the deficit to 3. Back into the game, Cecilia Hamish, the senior outside hitter from Union, Ohio, Northmont High School. Ivy Earl on the serve. The Howell, Michigan native, puts it to the back row. Muskingum sets, Emma Conrad with the clean set, and BW is going to try and keep it alive. The tip by Luciano keeps things alive. Gardner digs it out now, goes up to Reed, outside to Hamish. She'll hit it off of Big Rig and out of bounds for the Yellow Jacket point. Ivy Earl on serve now for the Yellow Jackets. Jump serve goes to the back row. Kylie DeLuca hits it up to Conrad. Conrad over to Dixon, but it is blocked by the Yellow Jackets, and it goes down to the court. BW with the chance to tie now, trailing 14-13 here in set number 1. Earl sends it long. Muskingum will take a 2-point lead. As coming in rotating over to serve now is Kylie DeLuca, the 5'3" freshman from Uniontown. She goes with a jump serve, sends it to the back row. BW handles it. Reed sets it up. Muskingum there for the block, but BW controls the ball. Hamish with the hit, but BW will be called for a foul, and Muskingum will get the point. DeLuca again with the jump serve. Earl there to field it back to Reed to Hamish. Hamish with the right hand. It's taken by the Muskies. Now Dixon sends it to the back row, and her tip shot goes off of Ivy Earl and out of bounds. Good bit of court awareness there by Erin Dixon. She didn't try to guide the ball too much, just give it enough power to get over the net to where it would be very difficult for BW to play it, and that turned out to be the right thing. Gardner receives the serve. Hit goes to Hamish. It's fielded by the Muskies. Now BW will control it. Hamish again hits it to the back row where Big Rig digs it out. Tip by Chloe Taylor goes for a point. And BW will burn another timeout as the Muskies have staked themselves out to an 18-13 advantage. Remember, it's first one to 25, win by 2 to take a set. BW, although they come in with the better record, they have struggled so far in this match to control the serve. They've been playing a whole lot of defense instead of offense, and right now Coach Casey Anger is trying to rally her girls to step up and control the tempo of this game in front of the home fans. Just the 4th time BW has played a true home match this season. Looking to go to 3-1 at home. You look at the match breakdowns for BW. They have won 8 of their 16, taken 8 of their 16 victories in just 3 sets. They've also had to go to the 4th set 3 times and the 5th set 4 times. The Muskies still on serve. Kylie DeLuca sends it to the back row. It's fielded by Dunn. Dunn up to Reed. BW with the hit. Now Muskingum again tries the tip shot. Gardner will send over the free ball. It's taken by DeLuca. She sets it up to Conrad. Conrad over to Taylor. Taylor into the BW side of the court. Now to Hamish. Hamish gets her shot blocked. Gardner will set it up back to Hamish. She goes to the back row where Big Rig gets it to Conrad. Conrad over to Dixon. Gardner tracks it down. Tip shot is fired right back at BW, but Hamish there for the tip. And this long rally will continue as BW had a chance, but 2 consecutive hits by the same player will give the Muskies the point. DeLuca sends it deep, and it was taken by Earl, but she misplayed it, and it went out of bounds off of her reception attempt. So Muskingum will retain possession, and they have now staked themselves out to a 7-point lead. DeLuca with the jump serve didn't have enough height on it, and it hits into the net and falls on Muskingum's side of the court. So BW gets a point and a chance to cut into the deficit. Isa Luciano, the junior from Willoughby South High School, puts the right hand into it, and she hits it too long. So the Muskies just 4 points away now from closing out this first set. Senior setter Aaron Dixon, another hometown athlete for the Muskies, a New Concord native and John Glenn High School product, will serve it up. BW's hit attempt after a nice set from Reed goes out of bounds. Muskingum now leads by 8 points, 22-14 here in set number 1. Dixon sends it deep, and BW thought it was too long, but it wasn't. And that's another point for the Muskies. They are 2 points away from closing out set number 1. Dixon with the flat-footed serve to BW's back row. Reed sets up Hamish. Hamish puts it deep, but DeLuca is there. Lexi Huck with the outside hit, and she puts the Muskies on the brink of taking set number 1. Dixon sends it to the back row. It goes up to Reed. Now with the hit, Sagi, and she will get the possession back for the Yellow Jackets. BW trails 24-15 here in set number 1. Lauren Reed rotates in to take the serve. She gets a jump serve, and she sends it long. So the Muskies will take set number 1, 25-15 here at the Ursprung Gymnasium. The two teams will take a 3-minute break. Again, want to remind everybody that of BW's 16 wins, they have had to go to 4 sets and have to win matches in 4 sets on 4 separate occasions this season. They've had 8 straight set victories and 4 each in 4 sets and 5 sets. BW prior to that 25-15 loss in set number 1, and they had outscored the opposition 494-481 in set number 1. And they've been fairly consistent in set number 2 as well. As the defense has gotten a little bit better, they've allowed 16 less points, 465, than in set number 1, and they themselves have been even at 494 points in both the first and second sets of their matches thus far this year. It's really in that third set that BW has separated themselves, limiting opponents to 456 points while scoring 506 themselves. And in that fourth set, BW holds a 204-195 advantage and a 71-57 edge in the fifth. BW is going to have to go at least to 4 sets today as they drop the first set 25-15. BW, a typically strong serving team with a .905 serve percentage. They struggled a little bit in that first set to maintain possession on serve. When you take a look at the first set statistics, BW no service aces, 3 kills for Hamish, 2 for Luciano, 1 each for Weiner, Segi, and Earl. And that handles pretty much the scoring for BW. Lauren Gardner leading the way with 7 digs over that first set. The Muskies paced by 2 kills each from Lexi Huck and Aaron Dixon, as well as 1 each from Brooke Big Rig, Emma Dunham, Chloe Taylor. They had 1 service ace from Aaron Dixon, actually 2. 1 from Dixon and 1 from Kylie DeLuca. Big Rig has 7 digs. She leads the team and tied for the match lead, while DeLuca had 4 digs in that first set. Muskingum will start set number 2 on the serve, and it'll be Bryn Williams teeing it up. She sends it to the back row. Gardner up to Reed, and coming up with the hit was Segi, but she misplayed the ball and mistimed her jump and hit the ball right into the net. So Muskingum starts with the early 1-0 lead. Williams puts the right hand into it. It's taken by Martin. Martin up to Reed. Reed goes to Earl on the outside. Muskingum plays it. Swings it up to Big Rig. It's dug out by Martin. Played by Reed. Up to Earl, and she'll put it down for the Yellow Jacket point, evening set number 2 at 1 each. Checking into the game, Isa Luciano, and going on serve is Lauren Gardner. Gardner puts it to the back row where Williams takes it up to Dixon, not a Big Rig. Big Rig over to Gardner, up to Reed, to Hamish on the outside. It's blocked and it goes down for a point. Excuse me, that was Earl on the outside hit attempt. That was blocked by the Muskies. Reagan Flood, a 6-foot sophomore from Pleasant City, will serve it up. BW will receive it. Gardner hits it. Now back row attack from Earl. Quick set for a hit from Emma Dunham, but BW is there for the block, and they'll keep things even at 2 each here in set number 2. Angela Dunn rotates in. She'll serve for BW. Jump serve goes to the back row. Big Rig takes it up to Dixon. It goes to Huck. BW plays it. Gardner will send the free ball over. Set goes to Dixon. Now over to Huck. Huck with the tip shot. BW looking for Martin to send over the free ball, and she does. Quick tip back to Martin. She plays it. Reed with the set. But the officials call a stop to play and whistle an infraction against the Yellow Jackets. So Muskingum gets the point, and they'll go back on serve with Emma Conrad doing the honors. She'll send it to the back row. Dunn plays it a little too well, goes over the net. Muskingum tried to get a quick tip. BW there to keep play alive. Now Dixon with the tip. BW there to play it. Reed sets it up, and it's tipped over by Luciano. And Muskingum will be called for an infraction. So BW will get the point. Tie things up at 3 each here in set number 2 and go back on serve. Checking in is Cecilia Hamish. Checking out is Morgan Martin. Earl on the serve. She puts it to the back row. DeLuca plays it. Muskingum sends it over to BW. Now BW plays a free ball over the net. Conrad there for the set. And beautiful hit right to the back line for the Muskies. And they take a 4-3 lead here in set number 2. Brooke Big Rig on for the serve, and she'll go up with the right-handed jump serve. It hits the net, and it falls to the court before Gardner could dig it out. Point for the Muskies. Jump serve again by Big Rig. Reed with the set, back row attack for the Yellow Jackets. They get it across the net. Dixon now with the tip. Gardner digs it out over to Reed. Now over to Hamish. She puts way too much behind it and sends it out of bounds on the fly. Well, that'll be another point for the Muskies. Big Rig again with the jump serve. She lobs it over the net. Reed with the set. Hit is blocked, but stays on Muskingum's side now with a quick tip back to the Yellow Jackets. Hamish sends it to the back row of the Muskies. Dixon tees it up, but there will be an infraction called against the Muskies, and BW gets the point. They trail here in set number 2, 6-4. Luciano set to send away the serve attempt. Standing with the right-handed serve. She hits it to the back row. DeLuca hits it. It goes off of the tarp here that separates the auxiliary and main gyms at Ursprung Gymnasium. And the Muskies can't play it, so BW gets the point. BW will stay on serve. Luciano will possess it. Right-handed serve goes to the back row. DeLuca plays it up to Conrad. Now it goes over to Taylor. Taylor's shot is fielded by the Jackets. They send it back. Conrad back to Taylor. Taylor hits it with the right hand, and it goes down for the Muskies point. Gardner checks back in, and checking out is Luciano. Muskingum with a 7-5 lead here in set number 2. DeLuca on the serve. She hits it into the net, and that'll be a point for the Yellow Jackets. BW a chance to tie here on this service possession, and Lauren Reed, the outstanding freshman setter, will be on serve. She goes with a jump serve, gets it to the back row where Big Rig digs it out. BW there for the block. Muskingum will try to regroup. Conrad sets it up. It's a tip, and hitting it over the net is Reagan Flood. BW unable to play it cleanly, and it goes out of bounds off the Yellow Jackets. Aaron Dixon on to serve this one up for the Muskies. She sends it to the back row. Reed with the set for BW. Weiner's shot was blocked. BW able to keep it alive. So was Hamish's, and now they keep it alive again. Hamish with the two-handed tip over. Dixon with a quick tip, and she found a gap in BW's defense for another point. BW will burn a timeout as the Muskies took a 9-6 lead with that tip attempt. And that was just good court awareness right there by the Muskies to take advantage with BW playing to the outside edges with these good hitters that are trying to defend these good hitters that the Muskies have. And that left a gap in the middle that the Muskies were able to take advantage of for that particular point. The Muskies took set one, 25-15. They really prevented BW from getting on any kind of a roll on serve. And against a team that usually is at a .905 percentage on their serves, that was a pretty tall task that the Muskies were able to accomplish. But nonetheless, they handled the business that they needed to, took care of set number one, and now hold a 9-6 lead here in set number two. Again, we are at the Ursprung Gymnasium on the campus of Baldwin Wallace University, where the Yellow Jackets are playing host to the Fighting Muskies in Ohio Athletic Conference play. Both of these teams just 2-2 in conference action. Somebody's going to improve to 3-2 in conference play, while the other will fall below the 500 mark in OAC action. Muskingum stays on serve. It's Aaron Dixon to put the right hand into it. She sends it to the back row where Earl fields it. Up to Reed. Now with the back hit is Sagi, and she sends it out of bounds. Muskingum gets another point. Dixon sends it to the back row. BW handles it. Reed sets it up for Hamish. Hamish swings and knocks it down. Muskingum briefly played it as Big Rig dug it out, but it went to the net where BW was able to get the tip and get the point. BW trailing 10-7 here in set number two. Morgan Martin on for the Yellow Jacket serve. Right hand attempt goes to Big Rig in the back. Now Taylor with the hit. Martin takes it up to Reed. It goes to Weiner, but it is blocked by the Muskies, and it goes out of bounds off of one of the Yellow Jackets. Bryn Williams, the freshman outside hitter from Springfield, on to serve it up for the Muskies. It'll be fielded by Lauren Gardner up to Reed. Quick hit by Sagi. Muskingum tries to play it, and they will. It's a free ball. BW gets a set, and it's again Sagi with the hit, and this time she puts a stamp on that ball and sends it right down to the floor for the Yellow Jacket point. Gardner will serve it up. Her jump serve goes to Big Rig in the back row. Up to Dixon. Now over to Huck. Huck sends it into the BW part of the court, but the Yellow Jackets are there to handle it. Now the outside hit from Earl, and it's too hard to handle for the Muskies. BW gets the point. Gardner stays on serve for the Yellow Jackets. She'll warm up her arm by sending the ball 4 times into the court before she sends over to serve, and she goes wide as she tried to play it to the back row on the right side, but she put too much on it and it sailed out of bounds. Muskingum leads in set number 2, 12-9. Reagan Flood with the flat-footed serve. BW handles it. Reed sets it up for Luciano, and Luciano puts enough behind the ball for Muskingum not to be able to handle it, and BW will get the point and serve. Angela Dunn rotates in. Rotating out is Allison Weiner. Dunn puts it to the back row. Dixon now sets it up for Huck. Huck's shot is handled. Reed now tees it up for one of the Yellow Jackets. And it looked like Muskingum got a hand on the ball, but the officials saw it differently, and they gave the point and the serve over to the Muskies. Conrad serving it up. She'll receive the hit from BW. Tip attempt at the net. It's Emma Dunham, the junior out of Mechanicsburg. comes up with the tip and the point, and Muskingum now leads 14-10. Conrad with a jump serve, sends it to the back row, and sends it a little bit too far as it sails out of bounds. BW now trails by just 3 points, and they get serve as rotating over to take the serve is Ivy Earl. She collects herself, takes a deep breath, puts it on the deck one time, and then gets the ace as Big Rig was back a little bit too far and couldn't dig out the ball. Earl gets the instructions from Anger. Now goes with a jump serve, sends it right back to Big Rig. This time she handles it. BW handles Muskingum's hit. Now back row attack. It's a roll shot from Earl. It gets over the net, and now a tip attempt from Dixon, and she finds an open spot in the corner and gives Muskingum back a 3-point lead, 15-12 here in set number 2. Brooke Big Rig on to serve. She sends a looping shot into the Yellow Jacket court, but there for the point, it's Luciano for the kill. And speaking of Luciano, she'll go back on serve. The 5'11" junior sends it into the back court. It's a free ball for the Yellow Jackets. Reed sets up Hamish. Hamish with the right hand. She swings it. She hits it off a Big Rig. Out of bounds off of the Muskies. It's a point for the Yellow Jackets. Chance to tie it up here in set number 2. Luciano with the right hand. Big Rig plays it in the back up to Dixon. Diving save by the Yellow Jackets, but they cannot prevent the tip attempt from Aaron Dixon. And the Muskies take a 2-point lead and retake possession of the serve. DeLuca with the jump serve for the Muskies. It's played by Earl. Earl up to Reed, not a Hamish. Hamish tips it, and Muskingum will be unable to play it. They were expecting a big hit from Hamish, and that is not what they got. As she placed it perfectly, and off of one hit, it went out of bounds off of the Muskies. Lauren Reed on the serve for the Yellow Jackets. She goes with a modest jump serve. Big Rig plays it deep to DeLuca. Now to Dixon. It's a free ball for the Jackets. Reed with the set. Here with the hit is Segi. Muskingum plays it. BW gets the block on the outside hit attempt from Chloe Taylor. And we have a tie in set number 2. We are knotted up at 16 each. Reed sends it off at DeLuca, and she can't play it. It goes out of bounds, and the Muskies find themselves on the wrong end of the scoreboard for one of the few times tonight as BW leads in set number 2, 17-16. And Muskingum will burn a quick timeout after BW has rallied here in set number 2 to get back even and then take a 1-point lead. BW will come out of this timeout with possession, or with service rather. So a chance to build onto their modest lead. And they haven't had many in this matchup. So this will be an important time for BW to step things up and try to even this match at 1 set apiece. BW, 4 of BW's 16 wins have been 4-set matches, so this is an opportunity for the Yellow Jackets to make it 5 in 4 sets. If they're able to win here in set number 2, they set themselves up to potentially take this match in 4 sets. But this is a game Muskingum squad, and they are tough at the net. and they are good defensively as they have been giving BW fits, keeping them to 1 or 2 serves for most of this match thus far. Reed sends it into the back row. Big Rig plays it up to Dixon. Now over to Taylor. Taylor with the hit. She goes too long. BW gets the point. 18-16. Yellow Jackets in front. Reed with the jump serve. Big Rig plays it a little bit closer to the net than Muskingum wanted, but that didn't matter as Muskingum gets the point. Reagan Flood with the good hit into the Yellow Jacket court. And now Aaron Dixon will take the serve for the Muskies. It's played up to Reed, now to Hamish. Hamish with the right hand. Her hit attempt is blocked, and the Muskies even things up at 18. Coming up, actually combining on the block, Reagan Flood and Chloe Taylor. Dixon with the right-handed serve. It's played by Hamish. It's really close to the net, and the Muskies will get a tip and a point to retake the advantage of 19-18. Dixon lobs over to serve. Reed will set it up for Hamish. Hamish powers it into the front court with the right hand. The Muskies play it. It's blocked, however, at the net. Is coming up with the block is Allison Weiner, the freshman right side hitter from Columbus St. Francis de Sales. Evens things back up at 19. Morgan Martin comes into the game now for the Yellow Jackets. Her serve is played up to Dixon, now over to Hawk, but before Hawk can send it into the court, BW side of the court, the Muskies are whistled for an infraction, and BW gets the point. Martin with the right hand sends it to the back left corner. DeLuca plays it. He is somewhat free ball for the Jackets. And coming up with the tip and the point is Ivy Earl. Reed with a good set. And Earl read the defense perfectly and placed that soft shot right in the corner where the Muskies couldn't play it. Martin with the right-handed serve. Big Rig fields it in the back row up to Dixon. Now over to Hawk. She powers it into the BW side of the court, but the Yellow Jackets handle it with the outside hit. It is Weiner, and BW retains possession, but they cannot get it over in 3 hits, and they turn it over to the Muskies once again. BW leading 21-20. Muskingum going on the serve. Bryn Williams with the right hand. Lauren Gardner plays it up to Reed. Reed sets it for Weiner, but her hit is blocked, and that ties things up at 21 here in set number 2. Bryn Williams with the right-handed hit, and it is out of bounds. Martin ran it right to the line, and fortunately for her and the Yellow Jackets, it sailed wide of the line. Gardner rotates in, back on serve, 22-21. Gardner helps stabilize this Yellow Jacket comeback here in set number 2. She sends it to Big Rig in the back. Dixon will set up Hawk for the hit, and the BW will be unable to handle it. So that ties things up again at 22 with Muskingum going back on serve. Reagan Flood will do the honors. It's taken by Martin, up to Reed. She'll set it, and coming up with the tip instead of the power shot is Luciano, and she puts the Yellow Jackets back in front. BW with a 23-22 advantage. We have a timeout on the floor. Muskingum will call the timeout. Again, 75-second break for both teams, and Anger right now is talking to her team probably about how to finish this second set out. BW in a great position to do so. They are on serve. They have a 1-point lead, and they're 2 points away from evening this thing at 1 set apiece. Muskingum took set number 1, 25-15, and BW is knocking on the door of trying to take one back after losing the opening set. Well, the teams break their huddles and head back onto the court. Angela Dunn will be on the serve for the Yellow Jackets. Jump serve goes to the back row. Big Rig plays it to Dixon. Back to Big Rig. She powers it home with the right hand. And that's 23-all here in set number 2. Emma Conrad checks back in for the Muskies. Her jump service taken by Gardner up to Reed. Reed sets it up for Luciano. Muskingum plays it. Big Rig with the tip. BW saves possession. It's a free ball for the Muskies. DeLuca plays it up to Conrad. Back to Big Rig. She again with the right hand puts Muskingum on the brink of a 2-set lead here as Muskingum leads 24-23 now with back-to-back hits from Big Rig. BW burns a timeout after Muskingum takes back-to-back points and puts themselves very near a 2-set advantage here in this best-of-5 match at Baldwin Wallace University today. Busy action here for the Yellow Jackets, both at home and on the road. As in addition to today's volleyball game, the football team will be in New Concord, Ohio for today's game as the 25th nationally ranked Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets go to Zanesville for an Ohio Athletic Conference game against Muskingum. BW is 4-1 and 3-1 in OAC play. That one being a 31-7 loss to the Mount Union Purple Raiders earlier in the season. But since then, BW has beaten the Capital Comets 51-0, and then also upset the Heidelberg Student Princes, the nationally ranked Heidelberg Student Princes at the time, to build their record to 4-1. Muskingum comes into today's game at 3-2, 2-2 in the OAC. The game is being played at Zanesville High School's Sulzberger Memorial Stadium at 4 o'clock today. The women's soccer team hosts an OAC matchup against Muskingum at Trestle Field starting at 2 o'clock today. Big Rig with the hit. Gardner sends it up to Reed, and now sending it home for the point to even things up at 24 is Ivy Earl. The men's soccer team is on the road at New Concord to play an OAC match against the Muskingum Muskies. BW comes into that match at 6-8-1. Muskingum 3-10. Both teams 0-4 in OAC play. BW head serve, but good net play by the Muskies gives them a 25-24 edge here in set number 2. Big Rig goes on the serve with a chance to take a 2-set lead for the Muskies. Her serve is fielded up to Reed. Now with the hit, it was Luciano. Muskingum blocked it, but BW retained possession. Hammett sends it over to Big Rig. Big Rig to Conrad, now to Taylor. Taylor's shot is played. Reed with the ball. The tip by Luciano is played by the Muskies. Dixon tried to get a back row tip. BW played it. Hamish now with the big right hand. She sends it out of bounds, and the Muskies will come back to take set number 2, 26-24. Muskingum had 12 kills in that second set and only 4 errors in 41 total chances. It's good for a 195 hitting percent. And that helped them get their 26 points. BW with 11 kills, but 11 errors in 43 total chances. BW has 19 kills as a team in the match against 19 errors. Total attacks in favor of the Yellow Jackets, 81-68. Kills even at 19 apiece. Attack errors. Here's where one of the biggest difference in the game. BW with 19 attack errors. The Muskies with 7. BW's hitting percentage is at .000, while the Muskies are at 176. BW has an advantage in assists, 19-17. Both teams are even with 3 serve aces and 7 serve errors. BW holding a 39-34 edge in digs. Reception errors 3 each. BW has 6 blocks. Muskingum has 8. Each team has 3 solo blocks, while the Muskies have 10 assists and BW has 3 assists. And that is your snapshot look at the first 2 sets of today's game between BW and Muskingum. Taking a look at the individual statistics, BW is led in kills by Cecilia Hamish with 6, 5 each to Ivy Earl and Isa Luciano, and 2 from Alyssa Sagi and 1 from Allison Weiner for their team total of 19. The Muskies have gotten 4 kills each from Brooke Bigrig and Erin Dixon, as well as 3 each from Emma Dunham, Reagan Flood, and Lexi Hawk. Chloe Taylor with 2 digs, good for their 19 as a team. BW will start on serve here in set number 3. They need to win here to extend this match to a 4th set. Muskingum plays it. Gardner sends it up with the 1 hand, with 2 hands, and it is blocked by Reagan Flood. Muskingum with a 1-0 lead. Checking into the game today, or checking into the match rather, is Emma Dunham, the 6'4" junior middle hitter. Flood's serve is received by the Yellow Jackets, but Sagi gets a little bit too much behind the ball and sends it out of bounds. Muskingum with a 2-0 lead. Flood sends it to the back row. Martin plays it up to Reed. Reed over to Earl. Earl's shot is played. Now a tip attempt by the Muskies. Gardner plays it. It's a free ball for the Muskies, and a tip at the net gets another point. Muskingum has been able to find a lot of holes within this Yellow Jackets system and just keeping them out of rhythm throughout this whole match so far. Reed sets it up. It's Earl playing the ball. Now the Muskies with the shot. It's blocked by BW. Muskingum retains possession. Hawk with the shot. Gardner there to dig it out. Now the tip. Earl keeps it alive for the Yellow Jackets. Coming up with the point, the cross-court hitter. It's Sam Ruetta, the freshman outside hitter from Aurora, Illinois, seeing her first significant action in today's game. BW changing things up here in set number 3, trying to find a spark. Reed with the set. Again, it is Ruetta. And now coming up with the big block is Sagi. BW trails here in set number 2, 4-1. Gardner on serve for the Jackets. She hits it over to Big Rig. Up to Dixon now. Rig with the tip. And BW has some miscommunication as 4 players were around the ball and they all backed off at the same time. not wanting to have a collision with their teammates, and that leads to a point for the Muskies. BW trails here in set number 3, 5-1. Taking a look at other Yellow Jacket teams during this timeout for the Yellow Jackets. BW's men's soccer team holds a 2-0 lead over the Muskies as we get started in the second half down in New Concord. Zoltan Nagy, the Yellow Jackets goaltender, is yet to have to make a save, and coming up with both goals is midfielder Mason Morris. He has 2 shots on goal, and both are on the back of the net. Attila Nagy Jr. and Tommy Busser have the assists for the Yellow Jackets. The women's soccer team is set to get underway against Muskingum right now at 2 o'clock at the George Finney on Trestle Field at the George Finney Stadium. Muskingum back on serve. It's Conrad. BW plays it. Now Conrad with the set, and coming up with the hit and the point is Emma Dunham. BW's football team gets underway against Muskingum University down at Zanesville High School's Salzburger Memorial Stadium at 4 o'clock today. BW with the hit off of one of the Muskies, and the officials award the point to BW. They trail by 4 points here in set number 3. Dunn will go on serve. Her jump serve is taken by Big Rig. Now coming up with the middle hit, it's Emma Dunham, and she gets another point. Checking in is Chloe Taylor. Checking out is Bryn Williams. Big Rig rotates over to take the serve for the Muskies. Her jump attempt is fielded by the Jackets. Reed sets up Earl. Earl with the right hand. It's played by the Muskies. Taylor with a hit. Gardner there for the dig for the Jackets. Now Taylor again with a hit. Gardner plays it again. Reed with a tip. It's played by Conrad up to Dixon. Now the tip again. It is Emma Dunham. Dunham coming up with another point for the Muskies. Big Rig with the jump serve. Lobs it over the net. BW plays it. Taylor with a free ball. Gardner sends it up to Reed. Reed sets up her teammate for a tip, but the Muskies respond, and it's Dixon coming up with the point. 9-2, the Muskies lead the Jackets here at set 3. Big Rig more with a line drive serve now as Luciano's hit is blocked right back to her. Back row attacked. Earl with the point for the Yellow Jackets. 9-3, Muskingum leads by 6. Taylor plays the set. Now the Yellow Jackets will try to respond. Shot from Luciano is blocked. Reed will set up Hannah. She gets blocked too. But the ball hit the out of bounds post before the Muskies could get the block. Muskingum gets another point. DeLuca takes the serve. Her jump attempt is played by the Jackets. Reed sets up Luciano, and instead of going for the power hit, she goes with a tip shot, and it works as BW gets the point and the serve, and Luciano will rotate over to take the serve. DeLuca DeLuca plays it up to Conrad, over to Dixon. Dixon with a tip. BW keeps it alive. Reed with a set. Hamish with the power shot, and she finds the court. With that one, it's 10-5. BW trying to rally here in set number 3. Luciano's serve is dug out by DeLuca. Taylor with a tip. Now Luciano plays it to Reed. Reed over to Earl for the back row attack. Conrad sets up Taylor. Taylor with the big right hand, and she sends it down for the Muskingum point. 11-5 in favor of the Muskies. Aaron Dixon rotates to take the serve for the Muskies. Played by the Jackets up to Reed. Hamish with the right hand. It's played by Big Rig, but it's well out of bounds. Taylor trying to save it. Big Rig with the bump. It's a free ball for the Jackets. Reed with the set. Hamish with the right hand, and she gets it down for a Yellow Jacket point. 11-6. BW cuts into the Muskingum lead. It was twice at 7. 9-2 at 10-3. Now it's 11-6. BW inching closer. Serve played by the Muskies. It's another tip shot, and it's Reagan Flood coming up with the point. The Muskies have been extremely good at rotating their attack to where the Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets are not. And that has done them well so far in this match. Reed sets up Hamish for the back row attack. It's blocked, but Gardner's there to save the possession for the Jackets. Reed over to Earl. Earl into the court. Now the Muskies trying to play Gardner there again. Reed sets it up. It goes to the freshman, Rueda. Muskingum plays it. Free ball for the Jackets. Gardner over to Reed. Reed sets it up. Rueda again with the hit, and she puts a little bit too much behind it. And out of bounds it goes. It's a point for the Muskies. Bryn Williams to serve it up for the Muskies. Reed gives Hamish a chance at a back row attack. She sends it to the back corner where DeLuca plays it. Now over to Big Rig. Roll shot fielded by the Jackets. Reed over to Hamish. Hamish played by Big Rig, now tipped over to net. Reed with another set. Segi's blocked, but the Yellow Jackets keep possession. Earl from the back row. It's played by Williams. Williams over to Dixon, now coming up with a big hit. Flood, it's taken by the Jackets. Hamish with the right hand, she'll hit it into the net. And the Muskies will get a point. BW will take a timeout. Trying to regroup. Anger talking it over with her assistant coaches right now, trying to figure out how to get this BW team back into this game, down 2-0 and trailing in set number 3, 14-6. And one of the keys so far to Muskingum's success has been their play on the net. They have used their height advantage and their timing advantage very effectively, and using their court IQ to find gaps within BW's system has led them to a lot of success throughout the first 2.5 sets here. And BW is going to have to find a way to clean that up if they hope to get back into this game, get back into the set and get back into the match. Busy day here on the campus of BW as the women's soccer team is just set to get underway against Muskingum over at Trestle Field at the George Finney Stadium. There's also a swimming and diving meet going on here at the natatorium. BW's football and men's soccer teams on the road to play Muskingum. BW's soccer team holds a 2-0 lead after the first half. in New Concord, and the BW football team is down in Zanesville today to play a 4 o'clock game against the Muskies. It's homecoming for Muskingum. Martin on serve for the Yellow Jackets. It's played by Big Rig up to Dixon. Over to Hawk, and she sails it out of bounds. BW gets the point. Martin will stay on serve. She gets her instructions from Anger. Now takes 2 steps and puts the right hand into the ball. Dixon over to Hawk, and this time Hawk doesn't miss as she puts it right out of Gardner's reach. He gets another point for the Muskies. Reagan Flood, one of the outstanding net players for the Muskies, will tee up the serve. Martin digs it out, up to Reed. Now over to Earl. Earl's shot is played by Big Rig. Earl gets a tip back over the net. Dixon over to Dunham, and Dunham sends it out of bounds. It's a point for the Jackets. 15-9, Muskingum leads here in set number 3. They hold a 2-set lead in this best of 5. Gardner with a jump serve. It's played by Big Rig up to Dixon. Dixon over to Dunham for the right-handed hit, but BW is there for the block. And they get the point off the block. One of the few times that Dunham has run into a block for the Jackets. Gardner's serve is played by Dunham in the front court and over to Big Rig. Big Rig's right-handed hit tips off of one of the Yellow Jackets out of bounds, and that's a point for the Muskies. Emma Conrad will rotate in, and she'll be on serve. She goes with the jump serve. It's played by the Yellow Jackets. Reed sets up Earl. Earl sends it down with the right hand. And that's a point for the Jackets. 16-11. BW cuts into Muskingum's lead. Angela Dunn on serve for BW. Her right-handed shot is wide. Big Rig walked that ball to the net and played it perfectly as it just missed the line. Point for the Muskies, and they get served back, and Big Rig will be on serve. Jump attempt is misplayed by Dunn. She tried to field it with the 2 hands, and she was unable to do it. It's a point for the Muskies. Dunn gets to play this one. She'll set up Reed, and now the tip shot from Earl is good. It goes right down to the floor, and the Muskies unable to play it. BW goes back on serve. Martin out. Hamish in, and rotating over to take the serve, it's Ivy Earl, the senior out of Howell, Michigan. She'll send it deep. It's played by DeLuca. Up to Conrad. Now over to Dunham, but it's played by the Jackets. Over to Hamish it goes. Big Rig to play it for the Muskies. Emma Dunham is there on the set from Dixon, and she'll get the point for Muskingum. (19-12), Muskingum leads here in set number 3. They are on serve. It's DeLuca with the jump serve. It's played by the Jackets. Reed sets up Hamish. Right-handed shot is blocked. And it's a point for the Muskies as Flood and Dixon coming up big with the block. That retains serve for the Muskies. It's DeLuca. It skims off the net. Gardner there to save it. Hamish now with the right hand. It's blocked again. BW's Reed tried to get a one-handed shot over the net after the block attempt, but it sails wide of the sideline, and that's another point for the Muskies. DeLuca with the right hand. It's played again by the Jackets. Reed sets up a back row attack, but it is an infraction against the Yellow Jackets that will give the Muskies a point. They are 3 points away from closing out this matchup. DeLuca, right-handed shot, played by Dunn, up to Reed. Reed over to Hamish. Hamish with a tip to the back row. DeLuca there to play it. Conrad over to Taylor. Taylor's shot is played by Dunn. Tried to tip attempt. Reed tried to get it over the block from the Muskies, but she was unable to do so, as another block with this solid net play continuing for the Muskies. DeLuca serves it, and it's long. So BW will go back on serve. They are down by 10 points here in set number 3, 23-13. Luciano on the serve for the Yellow Jackets. She puts a right hand into it, and she aces it as DeLuca cannot catch up with it. Good placement right there by Luciano. Try to hit it again toward DeLuca. This time the Muskies play it. Reagan Flood coming up with the big swing, and she puts the Muskies on the brink of a victory. 24-14, Muskingum in front. Aaron Dixon on the serve it. It's played by Dunn, up to Reed. Reed over to Hamish. Hamish with a big right-handed shot, and is played out of bounds off of the Muskies. BW survives to get another serve attempt. Checking into the game, Sam Ruetta. Dunn checks out on serve, Lauren Reed, the freshman center from Canonsburg, Pennsylvania, trying to keep it alive for the Jackets. Right-handed attempt played by Big Rig. Up to Dixon. Flood with the tip. It's tipped back over to the Muskies. Dixon now sets it up. Outside hit from Hawk. It's played Reed up to Ruetta. Ruetta gets played by DeLuca. Now Hawk with the shot. BW fields it. Reed over to Ruetta. Muskingum saves possession. Now to Flood. Flood sends it deep and out of bounds. BW stays alive for another point. Muskingum with a 24-16 lead here in set number 3. They took the first set 25-15 and set number 2 26-24. Reed serve played by Big Rig up to Dixon. Not a Flood. Flood sends it down, but it's played by the Jackets. Flood with a tip. Hamish with a bump. Set from Reed back to Hamish, and her right-handed shot is played by Big Rig up to Dixon. Not a Hawk. Through the block. And that is your match as the Muskingum College, or Muskingum University, Fighting Muskies come up to Berea, and they take this set, or this match, in 3 sets, 25-15, 26-24, and 25-16. The Yellow Jackets fall to 16-8 overall on the year, 2-3 in Ohio Athletic Conference play, and 2-2 in true home matches this year. The Fighting Muskies improved to 12-9. They are now 3-3 back to 500 in their road contests, and they are 3-2 in Ohio Athletic Conference play. I want to say thank you for everybody who turned into today's match here from the Ursprung Gymnasium, as the Yellow Jackets fall in straight sets again to the Muskies, 25-15, 26-24, and 25-16. We'll take a look at some team and individual statistics before we get on out of here. As the team comparison, total attacks favored the Yellow Jackets, 127-107. However, Muskingum had more kills, 33-28, and BW more than doubling the attack errors of the Muskies, 27-11. Muskingum had a 206 hit percentage, and they had 30 assists against 27 for the Jackets. Each team had 4 service aces. Muskingum finished with 9 service errors to BW's 8. BW had 59 digs to 58 digs for the Muskies. Each team had 4 reception errors. Muskingum had 10 blocks to BW's 6, including 14 assists and 3 solo blocks. BW with 3 solo blocks and 6 total assists. Looking at your individual statistics, Emma Dunham led the way for the Muskies with 4 kills. She also had 2 digs. Brooke Big Rig had 6 kills and 21 digs, as well as 2 set assists, serve aces rather. Reagan Flood and Aaron Dixon each had 6 kills. And 5 kills each for Lexi Hawk and Brooke Big Rig. They did just make a statistical adjustment and gave Big Rig 1 less kill. Chloe Taylor with 3 for the Muskies. Individually for the Yellow Jackets, Cecilia Hamish had 9 kills, while Ivy Earl had 8. Isa Luciano had 7. Alyssa Sagi had 3. Allison Weiner with 1. Lauren Gardner led the way for the Yellow Jackets with 29 digs, while Ivy Earl had 9. Morgan Martin had 8. Angela Dunn had 7. Isa Luciano had 3, and 1 each for Hamish, Sam Ruetta, and Lauren Reed. So BW once again falls to 16-8 on the year, and 2-3 in Ohio Athletic Conference play. They are now 2-2 in home matchups. The Muskies improved to 12-9 on the year. They are 3-3 back at the 500 mark in away matches, and they are 3-2 in Ohio Athletic Conference play. I want to send out some thank yous first to the athletic departments of both and the sports information departments of both Baldwin Wallace University and Muskingum University, as well as you, the fans, for tuning into today's game. More Yellow Jacket action on the way this afternoon as the football team gets underway at 4 o'clock. The women's soccer team just underway across the street at Trestle Field inside the George Finney Stadium against these Fighting Muskies. BW's men's team is currently in the second half and holding a 2-0 lead over the Muskies on the road. We want to thank everybody who tuned into today and remind you to make today better than yesterday and make tomorrow better than today. For everybody here at Baldwin Wallace University, I'm Matt Florjancic saying have a good night, everybody.